The Mike North advantage is always intended for all audiences, but for the first time in his broadcast career, Mike North said the F word. It happens later in the show, so be forewarned. The following program is brought to you by Verdoliak Law Group, fighting insurance companies since 1963, and by TickSplits.com, the official ticket provider for BearsBarroom.com.
This is the Bears Barroom Radio Network. The following program is recorded live and intended for all audiences.
Trubisky's not a loser. And me coming over to Trubisky, here's what I'm going to tell the people. To say, oh, it's about time you came over, and I knew it all along. You're all morons who love Cutler. A guy that dresses up like Mike Ditka before a game, that's probably what turned to me that he understands the tradition of the Bears. If Jay Cutler would have been everything this guy is, he would have probably gone to the playoffs 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And I fully expect Trubisky to keep getting better because he gives a damn. And I think that's 90% of the band. Don't you like when I just shut people down and I make a reasonable argument? That's what debate's all about. That's what it's all about. I hate that song. The hokey pokey sucks. Let's just go on. Put your left foot in. I don't like nobody telling me what to do when I'm dancing. You put your left foot in. I'm going. Nagy understands the division. Wannstedt, Trestman, Fox. They wouldn't understand Bear tradition if it hit them in the ass. So Matt Nagy has instilled that into the players, and I love it. This Trubisky kid with Nagy is the right marriage, and I'm going to give Ryan Pace and everybody from Ted Phillips on down a little pat on the back.
You're listening to the Mike North Advantage, and it begins right now.
That's right. The Mike North Advantage starts right now. I am Aldo Gandia, Mike's wingman, and we're going to talk about the Bears clinching the NFC North against their hated rival Green Bay Packers at Soldier Field last Sunday. We'll talk about the Bears visiting San Francisco 49ers. Chance for a letdown, and do they have a chance to win that top 2 seed? And we'll get to Mike's picks. He's trying to hold off his buddy over at the Chicago Sun-Times, Mark Potash. Mike North, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Aldo. Believe me, better than I ever thought I was going to do after last week. My God, it was a roller coaster ride. Handicapping is a roller coaster ride. I'll give you an example, okay? And this is not me whining. I don't whine. Aldo knows this. He told me this once. He goes, if I know one thing about you, is you don't whine.
That's for sure.
And I started tearing up. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But here's what I'm going to tell you. The Saturday games, I had the Jets, okay, +6. And, excuse me, and what happened was they lost by 7. Mm-hmm. But here's the problem. There were 2 missed extra points by the Jets. Yes. So that's how I lose the game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose by 8. I had them +7.5. These are the games I was getting early. But here's the remarkable. We're talking Babe Ruth. You're talking Jordan. You're talking Elvis. You're talking great. You got to throw me in there. No doubt. Because I was down 0-6. First 6 games that came in. The 2 Saturday games, and then the first 4 scores that came into me. I was 0-6. I go to myself, am I going to blow this? Am I going to be the 69 Cubs? Am I going to blow this whole thing? Then I went on to win 8 out of my next 10. And I went 2-2 on Bears Barroom. But I'm going to be honest with you. Even with my record, 112, 102, and 10, which is number 1 in the Sun-Times and Bears Barroom, Potash now is 1 behind me, 111, 103, and 10.
He's on a hot streak.
He was 10-6. I was 8-8. He's 1-0. He's been dominant.
Mm-hmm.
And I give Mark all the credit in the world, 12-3 with his top plays. I'm 6-8-1. And Sylvie even, Mark Silverman, who's had an off year after having a couple great years, he's even better than me at 7-8. But I went 2-2. Potash went 3-1. Now, here's where I got an advantage. I'm 35, 22, and 3. Doesn't sound like I'm too competitive, does it? Potash, I'm talking about a damn handicapping thing,
It's important. This is what
but
you
my
do.
racquetball playing days are over. So best bets for Potash, 34-25-1. What's going to make me have the better record, because Mark is 9 above 500, I'm 13, is those 3 ties that I got. That being said, this guy is so far up my ass, I can smell the vitalis. I can't take it. He's hunting me down. And I will say this. Since I went 18-1-1, you know, I'm glad I don't have any energy. I'm on my 7th Starbucks.
Oh, man.
17-21-2 since I went 18-1-1. But who cares? My record is a stellar.
That's right.
35-22-3. So I'm still number 1 overall, and he's still in second place. But there's no doubt in my mind. Besides the Bears, the story of the year has been the Sun Times and Barroom fight, or not fight because we love each other. The rivalry, friendly as it is, with the Bears and the Sun-Times cheat sheet, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's become a must-see reading on the Chicago Sun-Times and must-listen-to radio here, Mike North Advantage. This race between Mark Potash and Mike North is just fun to watch. Again,
forget about the Bulls. They're done. The Blackhawks are done.
Oh, my God.
North and Potash are just getting going with the week left.
That's right.
And don't you think the Sun-Times, with the fabulous sports editor that's been there forever, Chris DeLuca, there should be a story on this.
There should be.
I think the public, and let's see how they really embrace sports betting. Because I'll tell you right now, I don't care if I finish second to Mark Potash. Good for him. He was more consistent. I've been living off that 18-1-1, still been consistent, but I'm under 500 since then, and I'm still holding on. But either way, this race between us, look at the records we have. You got to give credit where credit's due. We've shown up. And I hadn't shown up the last couple of years where Mark Silverman and Mark Potash would be fighting it out. So it's good to be in the race. And plus, Bears Barroom, we got a lot of mileage out of this.
Definitely. And so we're going to talk about your picks in about...
I'm exhausted. Can I take a break now?
30 seconds. That's all you got.
Okay, go ahead.
We're going to talk about your picks in about 20 minutes. We're going to go through all of them. There are some big games, people playing for playoff spots, and so we'll get to all of that briefly. What I want to cover with Mike North right now is the Chicago Bears becoming the NFC North champions. Very few people in the world thought this was going to happen. The quick turnaround led by Ryan Pace's moves to bring in head coach Matt Nagy, to sign free agent Khalil Mack and so forth. How proud were you of these Chicago Bears last Sunday when they held off the Green Bay Packers?
Well, first, let's get me out of the way, okay? I thought they weren't going to win more than 6 games, okay? So, number one, I was wrong about the Bears, and I was pleasantly wrong. People have always thought, hey, I love the Bears. When I came out of the womb, the doctor and my Uncle Joe handed me the Bear Media Guide, okay? So, I love the Bears. But I've been right about the Bears for so long. The last 8 years, I was spot on. So I figure, you know what? If I figure they're not winning 6, they're not winning 6, because I predicted they'd never do anything under the other guy or any of the other regimes. Now, that being said, I was so wrong. And to the people that thought that they'd be here, good for you. Like Aldo said, few and far between. I think that things have all fallen into place. Ryan Pace, I thought was a dunce. Now he's going to be executive of the year. Matt Nagy, to me, I thought he was going to be an Andy Reid clone. He already has proven to me. I mean, I've watched Andy Reid forever, and I like Andy Reid, but he's not a closer, and I think he's more fearful than Nagy. Even the play calling Nagy has, which sometimes he screws up and puts the team in peril, he gets out of. It's sort of like the Cubs in 2016. No matter what happened, they came out ahead at the end of the day, and that's the 1 year that Nagy's having right now. So I give credit to them all, and congratulations, my boyhood team that I love so very, very much. I couldn't be happier for.
Now, you say...
Was that the question?
Yeah, I think so. Now,
I forgot I think you were asking me about my rent, but I started going off on a tangent because this Bear team, And we got to be careful when we say this Bear team is set up for a long time, like I'm reading now. Yeah, like Jacksonville was last year. Be careful what you wish for. You're not going to have the same schedule, although I thought they'd only win 5 games with the schedule they had. So, hey, I think they're set up for a long time. I pray they are. But remember, a lot of things, almost everything's gone right for the Bears this year. Very rare for a Chicago Bear team to pull the trigger on so many things, plays and everything else, and picks, and all of it come to fruition.
Well, one of the things that has definitely gone right is this Chicago Bears defense. Yet, Chris Carter over at Fox Sports says that this Bears defense is not great. Do you agree with that? And do you also agree with him that Mitch Trubisky is too big of a liability for this team to go far in the playoffs?
Jesus, what is he watching? What is this nitwit watching? I mean, all due respect to Chris Carter. You know, you bounce over here, then you're over there. You keep getting jobs, but I mean, that should disqualify you. It's not that good. First of all, he hates the Bears, apparently. I mean, Khalil Mack, I keep hearing people say that trade's a bad trade. How's that a bad trade? Oakland's going to get, the 2019 Bear pick? What's that going to be, 30th or something?
Yeah.
I mean, look. He sounds like me before the season. He can't possibly be paying attention because Mitch Trubisky, according to today's standards, is having an above-average year. And you know what? There's guys on this team that if this team wasn't as good, would be getting beat up right now for not playing up to their optimum. But it's sort of like with the Cubs in 2016. They went all the way. Do we really care what Jason Hayward did at the end of the day, no matter how much he was making?
No.
No. So, Chris Carter's wrong. I'm telling you. I've watched more Bear football. I could be in a coma, and I know more about Bear football than he'll ever know. So, he's absolutely wrong. I've seen teams that were supposed to fail, and they did. This team was supposed to fail, and it didn't.
Now, I'm looking at your picks here. I don't want to give anything away. I just want you to answer this question. How concerned are you about this Chicago Bears team flying all the way to the West Coast and playing a San Francisco 49ers team that has won 2 in a row? You correctly warned us when they flew to the East Coast and played the New York Giants. You said you were worried about that game. You thought the Bears would definitely not cover, and you were afraid they were going to lose that game. What's the level of concern that you have about this Bears-49ers game?
Oh, it's big. And you know what? I'm not taking anything away from the Bears. I mean, it's going to be, in my opinion, closer than maybe people think. I don't know. Doesn't mean they might not cover. I'm not going to divulge my hand. But I'm going to tell everybody this, that I'm the one that picked the Bears last week. And a lot of people were saying Green Bay. So I'm pretty gauged in with the Bears right now. The thing that encouraged me about the Bears last week is they made a couple mistakes, and they still covered the spread. I mean, they have been an automatic cover almost every week. They have fooled Vegas every week. That's why I'm befuddled by people who make statements like Chris Carter did. You can't have, if you were a betting man and you bet against the Bears, you'd have a whole new outlook on life, my friend, right now. And you'd have a whole different outlook on the Bears because they have fooled Vegas. Vegas doesn't like to lose. They saw that with me when I won 18-1-1. They were embarrassed. And now you're seeing the Bears every week. Every week. And they're still covering when teams like the Rams and the Chiefs, who were covering with them, are starting to fall by the wayside. This team's for real. So is this documentary. So is this commentary. Are you kidding me? God.
Now, you say they are for real. So you're saying they are a legitimate Super Bowl contender, correct?
Absolutely.
All right. So
I see New Orleans right now. I mean, if you're asking me, I mean, the Bears, if they could put up 20 points a game, here's the thing the Bears defense has to do that you don't see sometimes in the playoffs. They still got to get the turnovers. You know, I've seen, though, that it's not just the turnovers that the Bears are getting, though. That can, Mitch Trubisky's had a short field most of the season. He hasn't had a lot of 80-yard drives. But then I see today the Bears are number one on 3 and outs with their defense.
Yep.
25-26%. So 1 out of every 4 times when the team's on a drive, they only get 3 downs with the Bears. That's sensational. And then you put also the turnovers that they've gotten and the improvement of the defense overall and Khalil Mack's addition. I mean, there's guys on this team, and I would tell this to anybody, that could have played on the 85 Bears. And I couldn't say that about anybody, from Urlacher to Briggs or anybody on the 2006 team. The only guy that could have played from the 2006 team on the 85 Bears, in my opinion, was Peanut Tillman, period. He was better than Mike Richardson, easily. So, but Khalil Mack could have played on the 85 Bears. Akeem Hicks could have played on the 85 Bears. Fuller could have played on the 85 Bears.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of guys that could have played on the 85 Bears. Where the Bears fall short, this team, is offensively as good as they've been. There's nobody from the Bears' offensive line that could have played for the 85 Bears. Nobody better than Covert. Nobody better than Hilgenberg. No. McMahon was better than Mitch. We're not going by stats. We're going by production.
Sure.
Plus, we had good depth. The wide receivers, I'll tell you, Galt and McKinnon were gold. They were gold, and I'd like to see him play under the different rules. Willie Galt. I mean, man, he'd get chucked down the line, you know. There were different passes. And there's no doubt, as good as Tariq Cohen is, he's been better than Pinky Gentry. He could have played on the 85 Bears, but Jordan Howard couldn't have. He couldn't have played out. Maybe for Suey, I don't know. But he's averaging 3.6 yards a carry. If the Bears weren't having a good season, his production would be questioned, don't you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. Hey, Shane, the smartest man in the bar room is in
You're reading the computer again. I made a good point. I agree, like some professor in my 5th year economics class at MIT. Yeah, I agree. Go ahead. What does Shane have to say?
You know, when I growing up, I would talk.
Shane knows I know my stuff.
Yes, he does.
He knows it. I got something for him a little bit later.
Okay.
Tell him to stay tuned.
He wants to know, did you hear Wayne Larravee's comments during the radio broadcast? He said some very uncomplimentary things about the Chicago Bears. This is the former play-by-play announcer for the Chicago Bears. He then went up to Green Bay 15 years ago. And during the game, in his radio broadcast, he's saying the Bears, the shove it up the Bears, and Matt Nagy is being cocky with this 4th down punt call and so forth. I mean, he really went way out of his way to blast the Bears. It seemed unprofessional to me. Was wondering if you heard those comments and what your thoughts were.
I'm not a Wayne Larrabee fan. He was good when he was here, but I was doing radio at the time that he left, and I declared war on him.
Oh, really?
So he kissed my rear end. I always thought his toupee was pretty decent, but he's a Green Bay homer. You know what I mean? If you ask him, maybe he may tell you this, maybe not. In honor of the Christmas season, he might tell you that Aaron Rodgers' armpit smells like gingerbread men. I have no idea.
It's a rumor.
You know what I'm saying? So his favorite Christmas ornament is probably Aaron Rodgers' ball sack. So, I got to just be honest with you. He's gone full Green Bay. And you know what? They're bitter. They're bitter. They're absolutely bitter.
Yeah, that's a troubled franchise. I mean,
good, and so is he. Yeah. I remember when he left, I had nothing to do with the goof.
That's good stuff, Mike. Good
stuff.
Do
I sound bitter during the Christmas season about Wayne Larrabee? I do like the man, but he's, seriously, he's not but a Green Bay homer now. They went and got him. He probably felt, he was a Packer fan. Probably, I can't remember if he's from there or not.
Yeah, I think he's from Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So,
I understand.
All right. So,
sort of.
One of the things I want to get your opinion.
Didn't sound like I understood, but sort of.
One of the things I want to get your opinion on is Eric Edholm over at Pro Football Weekly wrote that there's only been 3 teams that have made it to the Super Bowl from the wild card position. So the 2010 Packers, the 2011 Giants, the 2012 Ravens. So he was stressing the importance of winning one of those top 2 seeds. How concerned are you about, and first of all, what kind of a chance do you give the Bears to get a top 2 seed? And if they don't get it, how concerning is that to you?
You know what? No matter what happens from here on out, we got to win. If we don't win the first playoff game and we have a top 2 seed, we'll be pissed.
It's over.
We'll be so mad because of how they've played. I think they're good enough to go all the way, but they're also young. Mm-hmm. But they've been young against more experienced teams this year and won. But when they played New England, I think some of their youth came out. Mm-hmm. They're going to be playing high-caliber teams, but I don't think they're intimidated by anybody. Hopefully, but he's right. Eric's right. When you have a top seed, I think if you go back in Super Bowl history, I think the number 1 seeds have participated most of the time.
Yes.
So, can a wild card team do it? Yeah, I remember when the Raiders did it. It was fantastic. Mm-hmm. I think they did it all on the road. But those are few and far between. So you're hoping the Bears can get there, but if they can't, I think this team is capable, but they could lay an egg. I saw the 85 Bears lay eggs after they won the Super Bowl. Anything can happen.
Yeah, and I think that one of the critical things about it, if you're going to play all of these games in the playoffs because you don't have one of the top seats, is you need good health. And so hopefully Kyle Long will be back to help out that offensive line. Hopefully the injuries to Eddie Jackson, and I'm forgetting who else is injured. I'm
worried about Eddie Jackson more than any of them.
Yeah.
Kyle Long, I could give or take. The Bears have survived without him.
Yeah.
They've survived without him. Am I right or wrong?
They have, but that right guard, Brian Witzman, boy, oh boy, does he look iffy at times. But you're right. They have
but I don't hear his name a whole lot.
Yeah, it's true.
The only time I know guys is when they're holding.
Yeah.
So, right. You know what? I'm not a Kyle Long. I'm not about the Bears are in trouble if Kyle Long doesn't come back. I'm not taking anything away against them. But to me, Eddie Jackson, I love Eddie Jackson.
Yes.
He's a stone-cutting guy, man. He's out to get you.
He is.
I love guys like that. He could have played for the he's a Plank-like guy, only more talented. Authentic. Well, you know what I'm saying?
He's more of a center fielder. I mean, Plank was a hard-hitting, and Eddie Jackson is, I think he's got 6 interceptions now. He plays that center field position and creates
he plays more like Fensick played it.
Yeah, so he's integral to this defense.
But he can't hit like Fensick.
Well, Eddie Jackson is a little bit bit afraid of tackling.
He's a destroyer.
I don't know about that.
I go back in time today, and you keep thinking now, I think you got so much Bear blue and orange all over your face now. You think these other guys, like Gary Fensick, was a hobo. Wait a minute. He got to go. Gary Fensick, there's a case for him to be in the Hall of Fame, and the guy was a receiver from Yale. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All I'm saying is, Kyle Long. Kyle Long couldn't have played for the 85 Bears offensive line. Okay?
Oh.
He couldn't have. I know. He couldn't have. Who's he going to play ahead of?
I don't
Tom
know.
Thayer? No. Who's he going to play ahead of? Tom Thayer?
Who was the right guard for the 85 Bears? Somebody in the chat room help me out.
Mark Potash?
It was Mark Potash. It was
Tom Thayer.
Yeah.
Let me just say this.
I'll take Kyle
Long would have fun watching from the bench.
I don't know about that.
Over Tom Thayer and Mark Potash? You're insane. I know about that.
I don't know.
Those guys were Pro Bowlers too, and they were healthier. They stayed healthy.
They did.
Kyle Long can't even get on the field, man. He gets hurt every year.
He has battled injuries. That is for sure.
You got lipstick on his rear end right now. Here, I'm going to throw him some soap. Here.
All right.
It's awesome, isn't it? Yes. I love talking Bears.
I love it too.
Look, what are we going to talk about? They're successful.
Yes.
We got to feel content.
Oh my gosh, this team.
So why not start a war between the 85 Bears and this Bear team? You know what's great about it? That we're discussing them in the same day.
Yes. How about that? Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's what makes you Aldo Gandia.
Somebody called me Aldo Gandiva the other day. I don't like that.
Yeah, well, they're wrong. How's that?
Thank you.
I've never made that mistake because the show's been so fantastic this year, and you've done such a wonderful job. And I love you at the Bear. Look, It's a young man's game. I'm not going to tell everybody how old you are.
Go ahead.
But all I would say is, I would have, if you said to me, Mike, will you come with me to Bear games this year? I would have probably said, if I would have said yes, I would have lasted 2 weeks. and you kept going on. You're a trooper, Aldo. And everybody's done a good job on Bears Barroom. Like I said, we're one of the go-to places now for Bears stuff because of all the hard work of everybody, man.
Mike, I was hanging out with Steven Zimmerman at a tailgate party, and Steven is like 25 years old. He's got green hair. And I'm
good,
like,
but he's 25.
He's 25.
Tell him if he's looking for a job and he's in his 40s, he's going to have to dye it back.
There you go, Steve. I know he's listening.
Yeah,
he's in the chat
but
room.
anyway, go ahead.
All right, so anyway.
He's probably a multimillionaire.
It could be. All right, let us make some picks here. Let's roll the music.
All right. Brought to you by my folks at Verdoliak Law Group. When was the last time you heard of an insurance company going bankrupt? I can't think of one. When was the last time someone you knew went bankrupt? According to USA Today, medical debt is the number one reason people go bankrupt. Why is that? In large part because when someone is injured due to the negligence of another, the laws are written in favor of your insurance company. For example, the law requires you to file your claim by a deadline, and if you don't, you can never get that money. So, you know what? Insurance companies don't have a deadline to offer you money, and they can string you along for years. So that's why you got to go to the Verdoliak Law Group. Just check them out on Bears Barroom, bearsbarroom.com, or follow at Bears Barroom, and follow at Verdoliak Law Group and Pete Verdoliak. Get all the information you need, and you know what? Read about it, or if you want, you can call toll-free at 844-VLG-LAW. That's 844-485-4529. And we also welcome Tix Blitz. We tweet stuff out about them. Give you the absolute best deal on tickets and sports, folks. I go back to back in the day, back 20 years ago when this stuff started, before the Cubs had their own ticket service, for God's sake. So check out Tix Blitz. Are you ready, Aldo?
I am ready. Go.
All right. All right, here we go. Your enthusiasm is overwhelming right now. I want to tell you that. Here we go. You know what? You're going, wow, there's only about 34 more minutes. Thank God. Dolphins -4 versus the Jaguars. Okay, here I go again. But you know what? The Dolphins, to me, seem like a cinch, right? Mm-hmm. They've seemed like that all year long. And yet, I see where the Jaguars, who everybody's abandoned, including me, Vegas is, if there's a couple teams that have killed me this year, it's the Bengals, the Lions, and these Jags, if you know what I mean. But I'm going to take the Jaguars plus the 4 against the Miami Dolphins in the Sunshine State rivalry, okay?
Now, I got to tell people that Mark Potash picked the Dolphins, so this is a big one.
Yes, and you know what? Once again, Aldo and I implored the Chicago Sun-Times Sports Department to do a story on the two of us, maybe get a side bet going, throw the Bears Barroom in there, and the Sun-Times gets a lot of play. Maybe we have Mark on next week. Hope we'll tag Mark on this because, you know what, when I do that, when I say mentions and I put people's names, they're forced to listen because they don't know what the hell I'm talking about, so they got to hear it.
That's right.
Okay?
What's he going to say about me?
My little guru. He's seen me play. He knows I can play that gutters type of game. Okay. Jaguars
he's got
plus
sharp
the 4
elbows.
versus the Dolphins. Okay, here, take it easy. Don't agree so fast. Falcons -3 at the Panthers. Okay, here's the way I'm looking at it. Mm-hmm. The Panthers are getting 3. They should be getting 20 the way I feel about them right now. Cam Newton, and my brother just moved out to Carolina. And I talked to him this week. And he says, boy, the Panthers suck. I go, it even hurts me that you're even bringing that up. You lived in Chicago your whole life. You lived there. Now you're living in Carolina after a year, and I got to hear about the Panthers. But I will tell you, you're right. Here's what I said to him, and here's the worst part. This is a Super Bowl quarterback, right? Cam Newton?
Mm-hmm.
Am I supposed to be saying they're stuck with him? Because that's what it looks like right now. They're stuck with him. And they're not going to play him this week.
Right.
But he's going to be available if there's an injury or if they still have a shot at the playoffs. I'm sorry. If they win this week, I'm not letting him play. If they have a shot for the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Go with the guy that got you there because he's killed him.
Mm-hmm.
I bet the games. That being said, Atlanta, seriously, with Matty Ice and everybody, should they only be 3-point favorites, folks?
Yeah.
Against a team where the coach Rivera should be probably fired at the end of the year, and I love Ronnie.
Yeah, he's a great
Worked
guy.
with Ronnie at the score, great guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope he doesn't get fired. I love his wife. I love the family. Good for them. I'm so proud of him. I remember he had to volunteer to work for Wonstadt. They wouldn't even pay him. But he did the right thing, and look where he's at.
Yep.
Okay? I'm taking the Panthers.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Panthers. This is a Riverboat Ron game. I'm taking the Panthers plus the 3. Okay?
All right, got it.
Now, Cowboys -7 versus Buccaneers. You know what? The Buccaneers, I've been to the rodeo with them. I heard Jimbo Fisher say Jameis Winston's the greatest deep ball thrower he ever had been around.
What?
That's what he said.
Oh, my gosh.
That's what this moron said. But, yeah. This guy was dancing on cafeteria tables, you know. But you know what's funny? In the NFL, that's only 10% of your throws.
If that, yeah.
That's only 10% of your throws, you moron. Everything. What he has trouble making is the short throws.
Anything.
And you know what? I'm taking the Cowboys. They're down on Dak. They're down on everybody over there. They're panicking. If there's a fan base that's panicking right now, as good as Dallas, I think, will be this week, here's what they load Zeke up, run them to death, and they'll cover that game. So I got the Jaguars, the Panthers, and the Cowboys. My last game, Steelers. They beat the Patriots. I think people think they're on the right track. And they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people think that the Saints are on the wrong track.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not. I've been hearing people say Drew Brees should be MVP. Well, this is the game he's got to show everybody.
Yep.
If they knock out the Steelers by 10 or more, he's your MVP, baby.
Yeah, that's a good
of the
point.
National Football League. Would you agree?
I would agree. That game is in New Orleans. The Saints are giving away 5.5, and you're telling us to pick the Saints.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I got to say, the Sylvie's got him with me.
Yeah, he sure does.
And Potash has the Cowboys with me, and
He
Sylvie
sure
got
does.
the Panthers with me. The only game I really have that they don't agree with me on is the Jaguars.
Right.
So, but last week I started out 0-2, then I came back. Look, I got a 1-point lead. 1-game lead on him. I need at least a 2-2 week.
Yeah.
Period. No matter what happens. And the last thing I want to see, and I'm competitive. I love Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing I want to see is next Friday me opening up the Sun-Times and seeing 4-0. Believe me. But I feel good. So those are my 4 picks.
All right.
Those are my 4 picks. I got the Jaguars, the Panthers, the Cowboys, and the Saints.
Good stuff. Now take us through the rest of the NFL, Mike North.
All righty. Welcome, everybody. As I take you through the league, I'm going to go as I do. Different boys. Here we go. The Titans -10 versus the Redskins. Saturday games blow. They kill me.
They do blow.
Just like the Thursday night. I was so happy not to have a Thursday night game. I can't tell you. You know what I mean? I went to bed the other night. I go, dear Lord, please give me some positive. And I thought I heard him say, well, there's no Thursday game. So I'm going to go. Titans -10 versus the Redskins. I'm taking Washington. It's a Saturday game. Wouldn't surprise me if the Titans win by 20. Like I've told people in Eldo this, till I'm blue in the face, green in the face. And I've been green in the face more than blue in the face because I've been winning. It's the system. It's not me. It's the system, and the system says take the Redskins. But like I've told everybody this year that's followed me, it's the specialty games, the Saturdays, the Sunday night games, which they should ban anyway, the Thursday games, which they should ban anyway, and the Monday night games. So I have the Redskins plus the 10 on a Saturday game. Here's a game Go ahead. Yes, sir?
Let me just say this about that particular game. It's a huge game for both of those teams because if either one of those teams loses, they are out of the playoff run. So essentially, it's a playoff game for them. So that's a big one, and you're taking the Redskins plus the 10 points.
And they're getting 10, though, man.
Exactly.
That's a lot of points. I'm going to myself, now I sort of like the Titans, but it's already recorded. I picked these games on. See, the thing that people don't realize is you could have some of these games I bet the other way by the time Sunday comes. I bet the Bucs last week, okay? In the Sun-Times, it was 7.5. You know what the line was Sunday? 9. I won the game. But I didn't win in the Sun-Times because the lines I get it on Thursday. People had already bet the game to 9. So I won that game, but I lost it in the Sun-Times. I'll take the loss in the Sun-Times. Believe me, I'd rather win the cash. Anyway,
Absolutely.
That's just me. Oh, I'm so greedy. Okay, haven't I had enough? No. Okay.
Never enough.
Chargers minus 4.5 versus the Ravens. Sooner or later, the Chargers have to lay an egg. I don't think that. Look. This kid Lamar Jackson's pretty good.
Yeah,
he's a hyper bowl Trubisky. He's a runner. He's got the potential someday to be a Randall Cunningham, the greatest, or somebody like that, Michael Vick type of guy. I like the Ravens in this spot at San Diego, only getting 4.5. So I have the Redskins and the Ravens.
It's a must-win game for the Ravens. They got to win to stay alive in the playoffs, and the Chargers have already clinched the playoff spot. So I like your pick there.
Do they need the Chargers? Yeah, but you know what? Nobody wants to lose in this spot, but I get where you're coming from. And let me just remind us, Eldo, as you're hearing Eldo say that, he's right. And I used to coach. And believe me when I tell you this, everybody knows when you need to win a game. But because you need to win a game doesn't mean you're going to win the game.
Right.
That's the way it is. Because if everybody I bet on needed to win the game, I'd probably be losing. Because the other team wants to win the game too, no matter what. And there's a reason San Diego's minus 4.5. I just think that with Phillip Rivers here, it should be like the Ravens getting 6, to be honest with you. Eagles minus 1 versus the Texans. I'm taking the Eagles. I love Nick Foles. Nick Foles is the guy that is the person that comes in when the regular housekeeper's off. You know what I'm saying? And the second housekeeper comes in cheaper and does a better job.
Much better job. I love that analogy.
And then when the one housekeeper comes back, you almost feel bad that she's back.
I love that analogy. That's awesome.
I'm just saying. I mean, maybe the second housekeeper uses lemon pledge on her furniture, and you're addicted to it. Okay?
Oh, good stuff.
Oh, yeah, Eagles.
All right, we got you down for the Eagles.
Minus 9.5 versus the Bengals. It's supposed to be an inner-city war. But, you know what? The Browns still have a shot. And that's what's going to scare people certain ways. Like we're talking, they need this. The Bengals need it just to get people off their back, but they don't care. They've already packed their bags. But I still like the Bengals to lose by 7. I don't have them winning, but I don't have them getting smoked. I think that there's maybe, and this Hugh Jackson and Marvin Lewis, believe me when I tell you this, folks, I feel bad for Bengals fans. I really do. That is a mess. That's a stain that Tide can't get out. Okay, next. So take the Bengals plus the 9.5. Patriots minus 13.5 versus the Bills. Okay, I think they beat the Bills by 10. Look, the Patriots are not the same team.
No.
But this garbage that Tom Brady doesn't deserve to be on the Pro Bowl. Have you looked at Tom Brady's year? The guy's like 70 years old. He's got 24 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and he's thrown for 65%. And I'm hearing people give him garbage. No, it's the other guys. Gronkowski's got a bad knee. I think we can all say this. Edelman's not the same receiver. I've watched him drop 3 passes the last 2 weeks. I remember the Super Bowl years. He didn't drop one. Their defense isn't the same. I have them winning, but barely. So I got the Bills in this game. But please, dear Lord on high, get off Tom Brady's God-blessed back. My God. Should he be in the Pro Bowl? Are you kidding me? First of all, he doesn't go. He's only been there twice.
That's right.
But come on. Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, well, and the
Boy,
Patriots...
people can't wait to pounce, man.
That is
I know
for
you're
sure.
a Brady hater, too.
Yeah, I hate his guts, but I respect him totally. He definitely deserves Pro Bowl. And the Patriots can clinch the AFC East title with a win or a Dolphins
And they
loss.
can win by 10 and clinch that. They can win by 10.
Exactly. I like your pick there. That's
Not
a good
by
one.
13 and a half. You like what?
I like your pick. Oh, I should have said
Don't say that. Wait a minute. I'm changing. No, I'm going with the Bills. Screw it.
That's the thing. I
I'm
like
going
all
with
your
the Bills.
picks so
hey,
far.
there's guys playing for jobs next year. I think the coach is an idiot. The head coach, Marone.
Yeah.
But guess what? That's his name, right?
Yes.
He looks like an assistant. He's like any coach is like one. But I think they're playing for jobs, and I think that they're gonna cover the spread. Colts -9 versus the Giants. Hearing a lot of love for the Colts. Mm-hmm. Andrew Luck, another thing they need to win. There's no doubt. I mean, people wanted Andrew Luck to get in over Tom Brady. I'm sorry. He's good. But this year they took him out when they needed a Hail Mary. His arm wasn't strong enough. Okay? So when I saw that, I go, he's not fully back, but man, he's close. He's close. That being said, I'm taking Eli Manning, the Giants, and Barkley, and all those guys, plus the 9. Packers -3 at the Jets. I'm going to regret this pick. But I'm going to take the Packers because it's a home game. Aaron Rodgers is still the quarterback. I think people expect the Pack. You know, it was too hard for me to take the Jets. Yeah. I think they're on the come in a couple years, but it was just too hard for me. I took the Packers. Vikings -6 at the Lions. I will never take the Lions again this year. They can win every damn game. I won't take them again. They failed. They had failed expectations, Aldo, as you know. Matthew Stafford, they're stuck with him, just like Carolina is stuck with Cam Newton now. I never thought I'd say that about Matthew Stafford, but his contract's abhorrent. I heard that word the other day on political TV, abhorrent, and I thought I'd try to fit it into the show.
It worked.
Okay?
It worked. Nice job.
It works. It's abhorrent, his play. The Rams -14 at the Cardinals. Everything points to the Cardinals giving them a run. Keeping it close. Gurley. Last thing you need is to see him hurt. Goff. 7 interception his last 2-3 weeks. They don't look like the invincible team anymore. I think that's a concerned fan base. I have the Rams destroying the Cardinals. I have them just demolishing the Cardinals. They're going to Arizona. Think about this. And telling the home team, you guys are winning 14-0. Best of luck to you. That's what they're saying. So I got the Rams. The Saints -5.5 versus the Steelers. I love the Saints. That's my pick of the week. But everybody loves the Saints right now. Maybe the Steelers are looking ahead. Maybe that's what I was looking at. But the system says to me that the Steelers will suffer somewhat of a letdown. I will say this, though. As I was watching the Steelers last week, and I won my unusual games, my Monday night game, I won the Sunday night game. Ben Roethlisberger is so good. He's still so good, folks.
Still has it.
So he's a concern, but, it's not like a hobo was playing against Drew Brees. So I got the Saints. The Chiefs -2.5 at the Seahawks. That's a concerned fan base, the Chiefs. They haven't played up to par. I expect Mahomes to turn it around also. And then the Broncos -3 at Oakland. I don't know if they're going to be a place to even play next year. Vegas isn't going to be ready. This is where you have a bad commissioner. Where you have a commissioner. Have you heard his name? Seriously, the biggest coward who ever ran a sports league.
Well
ever.
put. Yes. Well put. I love that.
Yeah. The biggest coward ever run a sports league.
Yep.
Ever.
I agree.
To me. And they don't even have a place to play next year. Oakland may throw them out. Vegas isn't going to be ready. Imagine that. They're playing in a soccer stadium. Roger Goodell was an intern when he started out. Okay? And I'll say this. I don't know how much butt kissing he did, but he's about as incompetent as any man or woman I've ever seen run any business. He's as bad as it gets. But that being said, the Denver Broncos go in there and knock them out.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That was good. You want me to read them all?
Yes, please go from top to bottom.
But go ahead with what you were going to say. I heard you say unfortunately.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, Goodell is still making $25 million a year.
Made more than that, I thought. All right, here we go.
I think you're right.
Oh, my God, I almost forgot.
The Bears at 49ers.
I got the 49ers. I think the Bears win by a field goal at the end. I just think that the Bears, everything's been clicking. I know they're playing this guy, Nick Mullen. He's getting better. They got some playmakers. I like Frisco's defense. The Bears should go in there, but you know what? I don't like the trip. They've already clinched. I still think they got to learn to play every game like it's a playoff game. I think Nagy knows that. But I basically think that this one's going to be a close game. I hope the Bears win it because they still need to win. That being said, I'll take the 49ers plus the 4.
I am so disappointed.
Hello?
I am so disappointed in you.
Hello? Operator. When was the last time somebody said operator? Operator.
1983.
1962? Operator. Back when you had key, you had the rotary dial?
Yes.
Operator. Well, you know what? I'm disappointed that in my pick, too, but this is what I got as a read. Look, I'm going to tell you a little story about the Bears.
Okay.
They're no different than any other big-time team now. They can be knocked off, and I just think that this is a tough trip for them. I'm not saying they're going to lose. I'd like to see Jordan Howard get a little bit on track. How about this? We were talking earlier with the Bears. Basically, Aldo weren't having that kind of year. If they had 6 wins right now, he'd be getting taken apart. He's averaging 3.6 yards a carry with 216 carries. It's not like they haven't given him the ball. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what? But here's the key. It seems like every time we need a first down in short yardage, even like last week, he gets it for us. So, in my opinion, he's got 17 catches, 3.6 yards a carry. But to me, he's had a good year for what he's been expected to do. They're more pass-oriented, and we can safely say that than run-oriented. I think the big breakout star has been Tariq Cohen. He's going to have 70, 75 catches.
Yep.
And he's averaging 4.6 yards a carry.
Ben Alexander in the chat room says that he thinks the Bears have learned from that New York Giants loss, and San Francisco has won 2 in a row, so it makes it a really, really tough game to pick.
It does. It's a tough game to pick. I'm not saying, and believe me, I want to pick the Bears every week. I picked the Bears last week. I want to pick them every week. But, it's just one of those deals where, things set up, conditions. You're still going to watch some of your players.
Oh, yeah.
You're still going to watch some of your players. I don't care what anybody says. They could talk brave if they want. Look, if the Bears are winning, let's say 35-7, and Trubisky's still in the game, I'm going to be pissed off.
Well, and that's a good point because Ben says that there is a chance here for a blowout for the Bears because, you are playing a San Francisco team that's going to be playing their second and third stringers because they're preparing for the next season. So would you be surprised if the Bears blew out the 49ers?
No, I wouldn't be surprised. You know what? They surprise me every week this year. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I just think it's easy to take the Bears here.
Yeah.
And you know what? Don't forget, Khalil Mack's going back to the Bay Area. San Francisco's 8 miles away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good point.
From Oakland.
Yeah.
So he's going back there. Thank you, Aldo. I appreciate that. Make sure you check that. But
he's made a lot of it.
Here, I'll give you another guy. Can I bring up something? You know I love everybody at the bar.
Yes.
It's time for, listen to this production, the Jordy Nelson, Allen Robinson competition.
Oh, yes. You got some numbers for us this time?
Oh, I just happen to have them. Okay? That's all.
Shane is in the chat room.
First of all, there's another guy that we'd be disappointed in if the Bears were having an average year. I told the bar room when I first came on back in the day that he wouldn't have 65 catches.
Right.
And if he had 65 catches, it'd be a good year. He's got 49.
Right. He won't get
he's
to
averaging
65.
He's averaging 13.7. Hello.
Yeah.
He's averaging. Are you still there?
I'm totally.
The hell was that? I don't need the barroom guys calling on the private line.
No, nobody's calling. Okay, go ahead.
All right. 49 catches, 669 yards, 13.7.
Mm-hmm.
Jordy Nelson, who I said we could have gotten for now, I'm not taking anything away. Allen Robinson has made some great catches. He's got great pair of hands. He's just not the receiver we thought they thought, and I think the knee came back slowly. Nelson's got 47 catches for 12.5. So they're 2 catches away from each other. Yet I was ridiculed, blasphemed, kicked in the groin, thrown down a flight of stairs, dragged through the streets. I'm a little dramatic, but you know what I'm saying.
A little. But you're close. I mean, you were.
I took the beating. I had to get a stitch. I remember you said, you need stitches. I go, no kidding.
You were on Bears 100
but you know
proof.
What? They've been right about a lot of things, too, over there at 100 proof and everything. Phil and Shane and them about a lot of things about the Bears, including Akeem Hicks.
Yes.
All due respect.
All due respect.
They were big on Akeem Hicks. I wasn't. Akeem Hicks is a Pro Bowler.
Right.
Period.
Right.
That's it.
Well, I'll tell you this, Mike, because
aren't I gracious, though?
Yeah, all the time, every time. I'll tell you this, because you still could end up being totally right about that. I think the point of view by us over at Bears 100 Proof that night is that Allen Robinson is younger, is going to have more long-term production than Jordy Nelson, but here's the thing. His contract, Allen Robinson's contract, is front-loaded, and so the Bears have the option of releasing Allen Robinson after a couple of years if his production is not to what their expectations are,
but you know what's
or if they
great,
need money. Right, go ahead.
When they're playing like they're playing, I love his year.
Mm-hmm.
I think most balls have been thrown to him. He's caught. I love his hands. But he's not the deep threat that I thought, and others thought that he was good. Well, I never thought he was going to be a Jerry Rice deep threat type of guy. Mm-hmm. But I am encouraged that he's up to almost 14 yards, so they've gone deeper to him. I'm fair with the guy. I think he's been a great addition. I just didn't see him being that type of receiver where he's going to pile up catches and everything else. And he's coming off one great year. Remember that.
Yes.
Not 3 great years, not 4 great years. So, you know what? I'm anxious to see him next year. Look, this team, there's no downside. Jordan Howard has done his job. Robinson's done his job. We don't need the stats. Mm-hmm. When you have a defense like that and you got clutch players, Robinson's come up with a lot of third down catches. I watch these guys every week. I have ultimate respect for them. I just didn't think some of them would put up the stats and say, well, Jordan Howard's not even going to get 900 yards on the ground. Yeah. And yet I'm perfectly happy with him because guess what? On 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, I'll take him over almost any back in the game. He got the job done this year on key downs.
Yep, I agree with you on that. Shane does make a good point, though, here in the chat room about Jordy Nelson. He says that a quarter of Nelson's season stats came in that huge Week 3 performance. And that's not to say that he's been terrible the rest of the season, but yeah.
Well, what did he catch, 30 balls in that game? What did he do?
I don't know.
And plus, he was injured. I remember he was going to retire.
Yeah.
So when he says a bulk of the 30 catches in one game, no, he had 6 last week, I think. So you know what? Here's the argument. It wasn't supposed to be close.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter. I'm perfectly content with Allen Robinson. And the Bears, you know what? Ryan Pace didn't pull any bad levers here. He didn't.
No.
Look at Taylor Gabriel. That was a great pickup.
Excellent.
We hardly even talk about that kid.
Yes, you're right.
Great pickup.
Great.
I mean, the guy, Ryan Pace, should be executive of the year. And last year, he couldn't have been Bobo of the year.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody was questioning.
Isn't it great when I can educate the bar room?
Come on over to the bar room for an education, Professor Mike North.
Get educated.
But last year, everybody was questioning whether the Bears should have extended Ryan Pace's contract, and I think rightfully so because, hell, I mean, the record wasn't good after his first 3 seasons. But man, you are absolutely right. Executive of the year, Ryan Pace.
Here, I'll give you something else. I said this on Twitter this morning. Mm-hmm. Check it out at North to North. 3 out of every 7 are clever. And there's a lot of duds. But if anybody has made any former coach, and I was never down on Fox. I thought, hey, he got thrust. He didn't pick up Mike Glennon. He didn't. He got thrust into this. But guess what? If any head coach has been made to look more irrelevant than out of touch, Matt Nagy has made John Fox like that.
Thank you.
John Fox looks, and I never had an issue with the guy because he won the Super Bowls and stuff. But John Fox looks 90 years old now compared to Matt Nagy.
Yes. Football is like business. You have to change with the times, and John Fox didn't change. It was the same thing with Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith was always set in his ways. He wouldn't adapt, but things are changing all around
you know what? You guys were, and here's one thing everybody was right about at the barroom. It's the Nagy hire. Mm-hmm. But after you see Trustman, after you've seen Ronstadt, sometimes history's bad for somebody. And that's where it's bad for me. When you're a Bear fan over 50 years, you look at all the hires, and you find a small handful that were good.
Yep.
So when they hire somebody, is it negative to think it might not work? Or is it realistic? It's more realistic to me. But guess what? I'm so behind this guy now, and if you remember, it only took about 4 weeks for me.
Correct.
I knew that they were on the right track. I had been a critic, and I knew after 4 or 5 weeks, if you listen to the Open, I asked Earl to make me a new Open because I had changed a lot of my thinking. Now, when I made that Open, we had about 10 games left. Or when you put that Open together, that's the way I felt about Trubisky. They could have lost 10 games in a row.
Right. That's exactly
But they
true.
were on the come. I just knew it. I just knew they have a magic chemistry, those guys, man.
Really
they
do.
get along, and that's half the battle.
They really do. I really, really love this team, and I'm going to be.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm going to be. If they don't make it to the Super Bowl, I think I'm going to be more disappointed for them, for those guys, than I am for me as a Bears fan. You know why? Because I just like these guys. They're cool.
Yeah, they're all cool guys. They all seem to get it. They get the tradition. They get everything else, and they don't have any issues. You don't want any off-the-field issues like other players. You don't need that. You know what? It just seems Nagy's got a pretty good gauge. They seem to like him. They play the little disco at night and after the game. And
it's pretty cool.
They're all together.
Yep,
they're all together. It's got a lot of Madden Cubs aura to it because Nagy and Madden have the same mutual respect towards each other. And that's how I view him right now.
Yep. Hey, Mike, before we sign off, I wanted to get your opinion on a few things related to Christmas movies, because you and I both love movies, and this is a time of the year where, a lot of people sit down and watch a movie, and they will pick a movie that has some of the Christmas spirit in it. First question for you. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
You know what? I listed it as that. I think there's an argument against it. I mean, if you have an 7-year-old kid and you want to show him the elevator scene, is that really good for him? Ho, 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 with the guy's brains blown out. I think it is. It's not a Christmas movie in the vein of It's a Wonderful Life. It's not a Christmas movie. There's a lot of Christmas movies. I saw a Christmas movie the other day with Errol Flynn. Made in 1946, I forget the name of it, but it was hokey. It was bad. Yeah. And Flint in the suit was just a failure anyway. He didn't like the costume dramas, but that's what he was good at. And it's a Miracle on 34th Street compared to Die Hard. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I don't think it's a Christmas movie. I mean, it's about shooting terrorists. It's not about
Christmas. But it's not an office Christmas party. It's a Christmas scene.
That doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
Well, I'll tell you this, Mr. Takagi. I saw him on Midway the other day. The movie Midway. It was good to see him running the Japanese Imperial Navy in his younger days. Then to see him. Yeah, the same guy, the same actor. It was cool.
That is right.
And what's funny is they made him to look older back then. I think he was in his 30s. And as an older man, he looked better in Die Hard than he did in the movie Midway.
Yeah, that's very true.
Oh, Mr. Takagi. Froggy was a stud.
All right, so we're over at the North House, and we want to pop in a Christmas movie on DVD or order it on demand, however. What are we going to watch? What has Mike North picked for us to watch as a Christmas movie? And he tells us, this is my favorite Christmas movie.
Life.
Oh, of course, right?
My wife would have control. That's it. It's a wonderful... Or Home Alone. I love Home Alone.
Yes.
We love Home Alone.
Yes.
Home Alone, to me, listen, I've never seen Christmas Story.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to watch it. It doesn't
Really?
interest me.
Really?
I just know the whole deal. I love Darren McGavin. That's fine.
Oh, great actor.
Whatever happened.
Mm-hmm.
The kid got his tongue stuck on the pole. That's fine. That happened to me. We all did that. Really, we did that. Or if you had cold ice cream popsicle when you were a kid, it stuck to your tongue.
That's right.
Until it warmed up.
That's right.
So to me, in the sledding and all that, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I think Christmas Vacation's a great movie. I think Home Alone is a great movie.
I would have bet that you were a big fan of A Christmas Story, so I'm surprised that you have never gotten through it. Interesting.
Never watched it. I'm not a big fan. I just think Home Alone stands out over that, but that's just me.
Steven Zimmerman in the chat room says that Bad Santa is his favorite Christmas movie. Have you ever seen that one?
Well, Zim's Jewish, isn't he? Ask him if he's Jewish. I mean, seriously. It's like me. I like sandwiches. I'm not judging no cooking contest. You know what I'm saying? I can only... But seriously, what did Sim say? Which movie?
Bad Santa. That's the movie with... what's the actor's name? He just plays a drunk...
You want to lose money? Make a Hanukkah movie.
Yeah.
Everybody gets together every day, gives each other a gift and says goodnight.
That's funny.
Right, come on.
Zim says he's Catholic, so maybe that explains why he loves
Oh,
Bad
is he?
Santa. Yeah.
Okay, God bless him, Zim. First of all, Bad Santa's a great movie.
It is a great
Elf's
movie.
a good movie. Elf's a good movie.
Billy Bob Thornton. Thank you, John Santucci. Billy Bob Thornton was the actor in Bad Santa.
Oh, absolutely.
Great movie, yes.
We knew that.
Now, Shane says Polar Express is his son's favorite movie. He's watched it 10 times already this month. That's the animated movie.
Thank God I don't have any kids. Because I would have had to watch it.
Oh, my gosh. I've seen so many movies.
How many parents have to watch stuff? And then I hear from my buddy, oh, you know what, I watch this and that. It's pretty good. I go, that's great. That's sensational good. Because they got to watch it.
That's true.
It keeps the kids in line.
It's true. I can recommend 10 kids' movies right now off the top of my head.
You know what my dad used to do? He'd come in, especially during the summer. He'd turn on Captain Kangaroo, tell us to shut our fucking mouths, and that's it.
You heard it here. Mike North has sworn for the first time in Bears Barroom history.
I had to play my old man. We'd be chirping a little bit, 8 o'clock in the morning. He turns on Captain Kangaroo and he says, shut the F up. Bye, Dad. Have a good day at work. Yep.
Oh, man, your dad, he was a great guy, wasn't he?
Oh, he was the best. Just for the area. Here. Watch Captain Kangaroo. What? He talking to the bunny.
That is
we didn't have much. There were 5 stations.
Now, what's your least favorite Christmas movie that you've actually seen? Now, The Christmas Story you have not seen, so you can't have that one on your list. Is there?
Well, no, I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to prejudge it.
Right.
But
now you told me I was on your movie show and I talked about White Christmas and the military thing and so forth.
Yeah, I can't. You know what?
And you made
I can
fun
care
of me.
less about Danny Kaye and Bing Crosby.
I love that movie. That's a great Christmas movie.
I love the song.
Oh,
the song "White Christmas" was in 2 different movies.
That's right. Well, do you remember?
Yeah, but I could. Yeah, I don't need Danny Kaye. And God bless him. Danny Kaye used to have a sensational variety show.
Yeah.
Sensational on Channel 2. It was unbelievable back when they used to crank out variety shows.
Mm-hmm. Very
it's unbelievable.
talented.
He was a great entertainer.
Yep.
But I can do without him watching, White Christmas. I would probably, my wife loves those movies. Me, forget about it. Die Hard, I'd rather watch. Would you rather watch Die Hard or White Christmas?
That's a tough one. That's
what I'm talking about. And you can have a Christmas movie. You're picking Die Hard, even if you don't agree with it.
That's exactly right.
Come on.
That's exactly right.
And The Grinch with Jim Carrey. Terry. It's okay, right?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan
and
of
the one with Bill Murray.
What was that one?
The Scrooge?
Yeah, the Scrooge.
Scrooge,
yeah. Exactly, I agree. I saw it in a movie theater once, and I had to run outside and smoke a marijuana cigarette because it was so bad.
Yeah, and I'm sure it didn't help.
No, it didn't.
Did you get that from Josh Gordon? Was he outside with you? We're supposed to have a pity party for this guy, right?
Oh, okay. So
I'll tell you what, I can't believe this guy is talented. What a dope. He's like worth only $1 million. He's cost himself so much money.
Yeah.
And you know what? You want to keep giving a guy chances? That's fine. I'm not gonna hold it against you or him. But my God, I know people, Aldo. Mm-hmm. I know a guy that's an elevator operator at a big time hotel. Mm-hmm. He loves marijuana, but he can't smoke it, and he keeps his job because they have drug tests.
Right.
The guy that fixes the elevators, not the 1930s. Well, floor 3. No, the guy that fixes them. Mm-hmm. I know another guy that's a sheriff's bailiff. Okay? Mm-hmm. Loves it. Smoked it. Can't do it. It's called willpower. There's a lot of people that are probably addicted to it that miss it so badly every day, including NFL players.
Yeah. Well, it's a pain relief medication.
Well, that's what they say, but guess what? They stop doing it and they get tested. They're clean. We're supposed to feel sorry for this goof? He's had 1 million chances, man.
Well, the thing with Josh is that he is suffering from a mental illness, so it's very difficult.
Who said? What kind?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the details.
That's what I'm saying.
The details are sketchy.
A mental illness is a bunch of crap. He's suffering from lack of willpower.
You really well, it's hard to say that for sure.
He had 5 weeks with the Patriots. He was their leading receiver.
Yeah.
Just quit smoking the ganja. Don't tell me you're weak, or don't tell me you have a disease. I agree with Stephen Smith. I do. And a lot of people do it, and a lot of people don't.
That's correct.
It's just one of those. I remember back in the day. Look, it's not like he didn't get a lot of chances. Mm-hmm. Here, all he had to do was stay away from it. Mm-hmm. Lock yourself in a room. I know it probably drove him nuts. Mm-hmm. He had to smoke. I hope it was only smoke.
Yeah, we don't know. That's the thing.
We don't know. I mean, if he's doing cocaine and all this, I mean, look, a lot of people. If you do it on most jobs and you get caught, you're finished.
You're over.
Finished. And this was it's not a right. It's the NFL. And man, I can't believe the money Cleveland spent trying to help this guy. And if he's not willing to go that extra mile, I mean, there's people on morphine that fucking get off, and heroin that get off, and this guy can't keep his mouth off the fucking marijuana cigarette? Come on.
That's 3 F-bombs from Mike North.
Yeah. I'm not exactly in this corner. I guess you could tell that.
It took the
17 more chances. Don't worry.
It took the Christmas season for Mike to finally say the F-bomb.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right,
Merry
Mike.
Christmas, Happy New Year.
Why don't you wish all of your followers a Merry Christmas as we sign off
I
here?
do. I love them all. I love the Bears Bar Room. You know that. I love you, Aldo, you and your lovely wife and your family. God bless you. God, have a great Christmas. All the Bar Room folks, Shane, Phil, everybody. You know how I feel about all you guys and the way and the Bar Room. Just great fun. Great fun. It's been great. We'll be back next week, and hopefully we'll have a winning week. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas to you, Mike North. My wife said, what do you want for Christmas? I said, I already got it. I am working with Mike North, the greatest podcaster ever. Merry Christmas to everybody. Mike North, I love you. We'll talk to you later.